Hey everybody, welcome to Built Like Brad. I'm heading up to the gym right now and thought this would be a great time to tell you guys why I decided to be a natural athlete and not take steroids. For those of you that don't know, steroids are compounds that were invented in the 1930s to help increase athletic performance. In a nutshell, they're here to make you bigger, stronger, and faster. I guess the best place to start is with a little story about the time I almost used steroids. I was living in Hawaii and I was in my early 20s. I'd kind of plateaued around 155, maybe 160 pounds. And I was training really hard. And there was this guy in the gym. We'll call him John. And John, he knew exactly what he was doing. He started coming up to me and telling me how great I looked and how hard I was working, and that he was really impressed. This went on for maybe a month. And then he started coming up to me and asking me if I had slowed down on my training or if I wasn't eating right. Just basically getting in my head, telling me I didn't look that great. And then a couple weeks later, he asked me if I had been out partying a lot, said I looked like I was shrinking. And then told me, don't worry, I got something for you. John was good. He attacked my ego, had me doubting myself. I was ready to listen to anything he had to say to get back on track. So he told me he could sell me a cycle of steroids and I'd probably put on about 20 pounds. Man, this sounded amazing, especially when you're a hard gainer. So I asked him, is there anything I have to really worry about? He said, how bad was your acne as a kid? I told him it wasn't too bad. He said, don't worry about it then, you won't get it too bad now. He said that you might get some mood swings, but to realize that you're on steroids and just avoid getting angry. I mean, in hindsight, that probably wasn't the best advice, but I was pretty much ready at this point. I mean, a few pimples and maybe a mood swing here or there to put on 20 pounds of solid muscle? What could go wrong? And then he said the worst thing I think you could ever hear. He told me, your junk might not work. I said, what? He said, you know, like whiskey dick. It just might not be able to get up. And that right there, folks, is the #1 reason I never use steroids. After talking with John about steroids, I couldn't get the idea of them out of my head. I tend to overthink things sometimes, and steroids was definitely no different. The first thing that kind of came into my head, though, was I was about to buy a chemical from some guy I really don't know and inject it in my body. I mean, that could have been Crisco oil for all I know. Sometimes when we want to get big and stuff, we just don't think about things, and I was no different. I just got lucky because he kind of honestly told me about the side effects. But like I said, I was curious about steroids, so I went home and I did some research and I read anything I could on steroids. And the next thing that really kept me from doing steroids was the fact that, yeah, I might put on 20 to 25 pounds of solid muscle during a cycle, but as soon as you come off that cycle, you're gonna lose it all. And being a hard gainer, I couldn't imagine blowing up 20 pounds only to lose it. That would be depressing as hell. The rest of the side effects didn't make me feel better either. Everything from testicle shrinkage to bitch tits, which is where men start to grow boobs, acne, your heart enlarging, organs enlarging. I mean, we could go on here and list all the side effects. And to me, it just wasn't worth it. Also, it came down to a pride thing for me. I had worked really hard to develop my body, and everything on there was from my hard work. I didn't need to take a shortcut. I would have known that I cheated using steroids. And also, I do this because I'm really into the aesthetics of it. And I think if you start cycling in too many steroids, it really deforms the way your body looks. And you don't look like this beautiful specimen anymore. You start to kind of look like a monster. And that just was not the look that I was going for. With all that being said though, I'm not here to judge anyone for using steroids. It's your body and it's your choice. This is just why I decided that steroids weren't right for me. And if someone else has decided that steroids are right for them, good for them. I mean, there's no way you could compete in the Mr. Olympia without steroids. So everyone has their own fitness goals and make their own decisions about what to do. Everything I read about steroids made me realize that our bodies are these complex chemistry experiments that we don't understand. And anytime we add another chemical or hormone to our body compensates by adjusting all the other hormones. So we don't know exactly what's going on. Yeah, we might get some really big biceps out of it, but at what cost? If steroids is something you're considering doing, I can't give you an answer whether you should or shouldn't. But I can recommend that you talk to your doctor and see what he or she has to say. They're not going to call the police and rat on you, or they're not even going to judge you. They'll sit down and have an honest conversation with you and help you go about the safest way of doing it. Look, being honest with you guys, if I played a pro sport, I'd probably go on a cycle, no problem. I mean, if you're making tens of millions of dollars a year, who cares if you got little nuts, right? But for me at this point in my life, there's no reason for me to jump out of the gym. No reason for me to tackle a quarterback who's running faster than the speed of light. There's no reason for me to hit 500-foot home runs. So for me, there's no reason to deal with those side effects. I think I look good and I'm happy with where I'm at. Thanks everyone for taking the time to watch my video and learn a little bit about me and why I've chosen to be a natural athlete. Hope you guys will like and share this video with your friends and keep crushing those workouts, guys. See you in my next video.